Hi, welcome back. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Cole.
This is Control AC,
A year later.
the podcast where we talk about widgets and the vision of the future. So this is our almost 1 year episode, because our first episode we posted almost a year ago was recapping Dub Dub.
Mm-hmm.
And in this episode,
We're recapping Dub Dub 23.
So it's kind of a year later, which is cool. This is a chonker of an episode. We have a lot to cover. It's going to be exclusively Dub Dub. So without further ado, Apple had their annual Worldwide Developers Conference in Cupertino at the beautiful Apple Park. We did not attend this year.
Sadly. Maybe one day.
We'll try next year.
Tim Cook, invite us out, please.
Yeah, Tim, we know you're listening.
Right. Of course.
Dub Dub is the Apple software event that has quickly turned into a software and hardware thing, because we got four physical products, one of which you've definitely seen if you've turned on any screen of yours, gone to the internet at all. So, jumping right in, let's do this in the order they announced them. So we got 3 new Macs. First
Starting
one
with
is
15-inch MacBook Air. Have we ever seen a 15-inch MacBook Air?
No, this is the first 15-inch MacBook Air, because they used to have
The 13 to 15-inch Pros and the
Right.
17-inch way back in the day.
Right. Now they have 14 and 16.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool. So now we have 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros and 13 and 15 MacBook Airs. This computer is the exact same thing as my M2 MacBook Air. It's just that the
2 inches
battery
bigger.
is slightly larger and the screen is 2 inches bigger.
Does that change the PPI if the screen
Yes,
is bigger?
it's 2.8K instead of 2.5.
Okay, so it's technically a better screen, but it has to be a little bit better because it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what's actually crazy? The battery life on mine and the 15-inch is the exact same.
The claimed battery life.
Right. So basically M2 is so efficient that the larger screen takes up the extra battery you get, and it's the same battery life.
Well,
So kind of cool. It's a 15-inch MacBook Air. It's a great computer if you want a big, I was going to say big cheap computer, but this isn't cheap. It starts at $1299, which is actually a really good price, and the 13-inch M2 is now $1099.
and then for the sad M1 Air,
They
it's
kept the
$999.
13-inch M1 at $1,000, which you really shouldn't buy, because for $100 more, you get M2, better screen,
Right.
media engine, all that.
Okay, hear me out. They dropped the price to $790 or $749.
Oh yeah,
Best school laptop.
yeah. Or even if they just took like A17, the iPhone 15 chip, threw that in this MacBook case,
And made
made it like
Chromebook kind of?
$699, $599, that would be crazy.
If they made like a Chromebook type line, like
Yeah,
Mac for Education.
because the transition Apple
Mac
Silicon,
Lite.
MacBook Lite, MacBook SE.
Oh yeah, which is an iPhone chip and 1080p to screen, display. Yeah. Anyways,
That's kind of smart.
but this is kind of cool.
It's
And-
just a good laptop.
Yeah, like if
Big
you're not
screen.
in school and the desks aren't size issue, then this would be like a great work laptop,
Yeah.
just for all around like daily tasks.
And the speakers are better than the 13-inch M2.
Yeah,
You have
there's
6
that.
speakers instead of 4. Mm-hmm. So,
Quote unquote better spatial audio, but that's to be determined.
yeah. So good overall. Then we got Mac Studio. This again got 2 changes. So it has a new chipset, M2 Max, and the new M2 Ultra. And the HDMI port is now HDMI 2.1 instead of 2.0.
Yeah, which is a little bit better.
That adds variable refresh rate and like console stuff, but I will say HDMI 2.1 is like a changing standard. Like there's never a set HDMI thing. It's always evolving.
It's like USB.
Yeah, so as of right now, it has HDMI 2.1. But we have M2 Ultra to 24-core CPU, up to a 76-core GPU, up to 192 gigs of RAM, and the memory bandwidth is 800 gigs a second.
Which is a lot.
Which is a lot. They had a bunch of crazy specs on the M2 Ultra. You can play up to 22 streams of 8K ProRes video in Final Cut, which is just unbelievable.
So the little thing that they demonstrated that was, it was security, right?
Yeah.
It was like a security feeder. Or no, it was a show production.
Oh, right, with like multiple camera
Yeah.
angles.
So that's what this would be used for. But we have an alternative to that too, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, so you have 8 displays. Can it run 8 Pro displays at 6K each?
Connect up to 8 displays with M2 Ultra.
If you have like 8 Pro Display XDRs,
Who are you?
8 times 6. That's
Actually, no, just contact us. Don't tell us who you are. Just contact us.
$48,000 in displays.
Sharing is caring, guys. Anyways.
So Mac Studio got a small update. It's still the best Pro Mac, like by far.
For the
if you're
price.
any sort of professional, if you're the 99% of professionals, this is the Mac you get.
Right.
If you they have another Mac that they released, the
little spicy.
long-awaited Apple Silicon Mac Pro.
Same chip, M2 Ultra, but it's $3,000 more, and you get a big boy case, the ability to add wheels, and their thing, which was they have SATA connection too.
Yeah, so Mac Pro
SATA and PCI extension.
Mac Pro is in the same case. It's the same cheese grater from 2019. It starts at $7,000, and it has M2 Ultra, just like Mac Studio.
Right.
It has roughly the same I/O as Mac Studio on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It
Except it has 6 Thunderbolt.
It has more fans, and it takes up a lot more space.
But it looks better.
But it takes up a ton of space for like the same. It's going to be roughly the same performance for $3,000 more. So what do you get for $3,000?
Okay, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 PCI extensions.
7 total. One of them's already taken up by Apple.
That's right. It's the HDMI, and
So you get 6 PCIe slots.
which is that's a lot. Okay, 6 PCI extension slots is a lot. This is for stuff like a server. If you want M2 Silicon, like if you have a server right now that runs off of like your MacBook Pro with with Apple Silicon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you want a substantial upgrade so you can run GPUs. Because I'm assuming this has GPU support.
It doesn't. There's no eGPU support.
No, not eGPU. It wouldn't be an eGPU. It would be baked in.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Hold on, guys.
Because M2 Ultra is an SoC, so it's all on the board.
But that's their whole selling point of this, is to be able to hook PCI extension slots to it.
Right, but they never went over GPU. Because they said that the last Mac Pro had the Afterburner card. And they said M2 Ultra is
Doesn't need
equivalent
it.
to 7 Afterburner cards.
Okay, but the Afterburner cards weren't really GPU. They were video accelerant cards, which is
is built into M2 Ultra now.
right.
via
So,
media
but the Afterburner isn't really a graphics card. It's basically just more RAM for your GPU.
Yeah.
But like, I'm assuming that if they have GPU support, it would be AMD, like they always have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, they supported NVIDIA a while back, but I don't actually know GPU wise what this would look like. But this is for people who need like high end sound cards, like Sound Blaster FXs.
Yeah.
Like better Wi-Fi extension.
If you edit in Avid Media Composer, there are Avid accelerator cards that you can buy. This is such a niche product.
Yeah, 100%. This is not for if you're a consumer, like just a regular person wanting a Pro Mac, then get the Studio.
If you've been fine without PCIe slots for all of this time,
Right.
you don't need to drop $3,000 more on this.
Exactly. But this is for the people who need PCI extension, like what he said, the editing.
Like, even if we upgraded and we wanted the most power for all of the audio processing and editing we do, Mac Studio would still be the most we'd ever need.
Exactly, because it's niche.
It's
all.
so
That's it.
niche.
It's so niche. If you look at the board, it's just completely bare.
There's so much room in the case.
They for real could have just put like 4 of the M2 Ultras and be like, hey, it's
Right.
$8,000 more, but you get 4.
Because M2 Ultra is just 2 M2 Maxes. So
Right.
just, if it's already modular, just put 4 of them together.
Like their selling point of the Ultra is saying that it's literally double the performance of the Max.
So just double it again. Double it and give it to the
double
next
it and
person.
give it to the next Mac.
But this has to be. I'm sure you can like store stuff in this Mac Pro. There's so much empty space.
Much room. Like you could fit at least 3 4090s in here.
Yeah, for expandable storage, just get a portable SSD and just have like 3 of them hanging out in the case.
And there's SATA ports, which is confusing because if you have these PCI ports, you don't need SATA ports because you can use the PCI for PCI storage, which is faster than SATA. So a little confusing here, but we'll learn more as this like starts to roll out, like GPU support. I'm sure we'll see videos of people putting 4090s in this thing.
Famously, the last Mac Pro could get to $52,000 if you went for 1.5 terabytes of RAM and all that.
I sent you this. What was it?
If you fully spec out the new Mac Pro, it's just over $12,000.
Which is, it's pretty good, but you also don't get a terabyte of RAM.
Right.
Like, but listen, the ability to upgrade on this thing is not great. With the last Mac Pro, you could get, what was it, up to like, you could get a terabyte of RAM, couldn't you?
1.5.
Yeah. You could get insane amounts of storage.
And if you spec out a Mac Studio with the same 192 gigs of RAM, 8 terabytes of storage, and M2 Ultra, it's with tax $9,000. So it's still fully spec'd out $3,000 more for those expansion slots.
Exactly, which isn't. It's not great,
and it's not $3,000 more for PCIe cards. Like there are no Apple design. It's just for the option to have them.
Well, technically there are 2 in there, but.
Well, yeah.
But like you only get 192 gigs. Okay, I say only. That's a lot. But compared to the terabyte that you could get before.
But it's Apple Silicon RAM, so it's all on the board. It's all like really, really fast.
You know, this would be a great selling point if they made it completely modular.
Yeah, which you can't though.
You
with
can't.
an SoC.
But they just need to make it.
If they started selling PCIe RAM cards, like that would.
Okay, but listen, unified memory is just memory chips soldered onto the board around it. Mm-hmm. If they just rerouted those channels to DIMM slots in the insane amount of board space.
Yeah, they have the space.
Like, it's not like it would block up PCI expansion because all I have to do is pull that little SATA connector out and replace it with a power supply and RAM slots, and this thing would be absolutely worth the money if you could upgrade it to 2 to 8 terabytes of RAM.
You know what the problem is? Way too much money on R&D for the 5 people buying this. It's just not worth it.
I think they could just change some things. And
you can put a Mac Studio in the Mac Pro case. You
can put like 4.
When you're not using your iPad, you can just leave it in your Mac Studio.
Okay, hear me out. We just buy the case. We just buy the case, right? Or we buy the computer. We pull everything out and sell it, right?
Mm-hmm. And then just put a Mac Studio in there?
No, we get like 9 Mac Studios and just stack them in there.
You have a whole workstation powered by one Mac Pro case with 9 different computers in it. Or just like put a bunch of M1 MacBook Airs in there, all vertically.
His line. Or get the server one and you could just build like 10 of them.
Yep.
Anyways.
So if you're looking at a Pro Mac, I mean, you know who you are if you really need this Mac Pro.
Right.
And you'll just buy it. You don't care about the price because those cards will save you time somehow. Mm-hmm. But this is not for the majority of pros even. So then, software side of things. Craig Federighi walks out on stage.
How cool is that?
And starts right off with iOS 17. So iOS 17, it kind of has like 3 main things.
It's got...
So there's calling, social interaction customization now.
Yeah, what is it called? The contact cards or something?
Yeah, so they changed calls, they changed...
Voicemails,
and then it's AirDrop. So like calls, AirDrop, and then AI stuff.
And then
so those are like the 3 themes. So... First thing they announced is call customization. So now when people call you, you can have a custom card that shows up. So like where it would usually be your profile picture, now you have like your name and a picture that you choose in a cool style that you can share to everyone.
Yeah, it takes up the whole screen.
I'm not going to do this because I have specific like pictures for different people that I want.
Right.
I don't want like their own, I don't know. It's cool, I guess. I may do this for like a couple people.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting too is that they have to call you first, and it won't work the first time. Then the data is transferred, and then it works the second time. Because remember, phone calls that's all carrier stuff.
Yeah.
That's not Apple. So this has to be communicated somehow through your carrier, through Apple, with the cards. Because this data, like a normal phone call doesn't transfer data. So like you have to call them, and then it's like an Apple-y thing where they know this person has an iPhone, and then it sends their like profile picture information thing.
Well, yeah, but it's just a phone number.
No, I mean like the whole contact card.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it'll show up for everyone, and it's through your carrier calling.
Like even non-Apple users or just Apple?
Just Apple users. But like it still has to communicate the fact that you have this card thing.
Well, yes.
So that's kind of weird. The second thing like that is, I mean, any adult listening to this is going to roll their eyes. There's this feature where you can now listen to a voicemail as the person is leaving it and decide whether or not you want to answer the call.
Okay, but yeah,
this is revolutionary.
I guess, but so it transcribes. So like they described it like if you're in a meeting,
yeah,
and like you need to know if it was an emergency or just your kid saying we're out of ketchup.
It will live transcribe the voicemail as they're speaking it on your screen.
Right, and then you can have the message. You have the option to message them or accept the call while they're talking and be like, "Hey, I'm here now,"
which is amazing.
Yeah,
because now I never have to answer a random number call, and it kind of eliminates voicemail now.
Pretty much. I mean, not really, but yeah.
When was the last time you sent a voicemail?
I've never sent a voicemail. I just hang up.
And you text the person?
No, I just don't. I just call again in like 10 minutes.
Okay, well, this kind of raises the same question with the carrier thing, because what this does is it answers the call in the background and sends it to voicemail, and then your phone is actively listening to the voicemail and transcribing it while you're doing it.
Right.
This is only available in the US and Canada because it's a carrier thing. But it's weird that like this is all on device, which is really cool.
I mean, I'm sure if we sat about it and like thought for like 5 minutes, we'd understand how it happens, but it's a lot of work.
I mean, it's like call screening with the Pixel, where you have your assistant answer it.
That's right. Yeah,
and it tells you, but this is like native in the phone app on your screen. I'd
rather this be native than it be run through a server, because then you're just getting phone calls.
Right.
Like your Apple's just getting your phone. I mean, they probably do anyways, but
but this technology is so old. Being able to listen to a voicemail as they're leaving it and then just pick up the phone.
You'd think we'd have figured this out by now.
This is revolutionary stuff.
Just like
then we got
figured out.
We got messages stuff. Well, actually, I think we should do FaceTime first. So FaceTime, you're able to leave a message on FaceTime. So like you FaceTime someone, they don't pick up. You can leave a quick video message,
which nobody's gonna do,
to show them what you wanted to show them, and then hang up. I guess I don't know why you'd do this when you can just like send the video through text, but it's nice that you have this. I guess if you're wanting to say hi to someone, you can be like, "Hey, the family's here. You missed us." I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think here.
Not a lot of you can. This is for kids.
Yeah, it's probably for kids,
moms
like
their kids.
Calling their parents and all of that. We got new iMessage stuff. So now all of your iMessage apps, like the store and the GIF button, and
they're like tucked away now, nice and neat.
They're all stored in this little pop-down menu. There's a check-in feature that will alert people when you arrive to a certain location.
Yep.
And if you don't arrive there within like 15 minutes, it shows them your current location, your battery, and your cell strength, and all that. Kind of neat.
That's pretty cool.
There's a catch-up feature in group chats where you can
Finally.
just press the arrow button and it will take you to your last read message. I don't know why this is just coming out now, but that's really, really nice for spammy group chats. There are search filters, so you can search for text easier. You can now enter the name of a person and then start typing the words. So like I can type Cole and it hit enter, and then it fills in your name, and then I can start typing the message, and it will only search your messages for that
Right.
thing, which is nice. I've wanted that for a while. You can now see your friend's location, like in a little iMessage button. If someone sends you an audio message, it will transcribe it under it, so you don't have to listen to the message. You can just read what they said. Kind of nice. And then they spent a long time talking about stickers.
They did.
I don't know who uses iMessage stickers, but man, if you do, you need to get on this beta. There's a whole sticker drawer now. It's fine if you're into that, I guess. You can now make stickers using your photos that you've done the 3D cutout thing of, like the smart cutout thing. So you can make your own stickers of people, which is neat. You can use your stickers in third-party apps.
That's kind of cool, though. Kind of.
On Discord, then you can make your own stickers.
You have to pay for it if you're paying for Nitro, of course.
Interesting. This is the weirdest thing. So in FaceTime, you can react with your hands to start like on screen. So you know how in messages you can send a text with balloons?
Yeah, confetti.
Now when you're in a FaceTime call, you can go up to Control Center and click the balloons button, and it will do that on your FaceTime screen. And it showed a clip of a guy in a meeting, like giving 2 thumbs up, and then fireworks appear behind him. I don't know who's doing that in a work meeting, like putting balloons and fireworks on their screen, but
you can tell the guy with the confetti is not amused.
This is some Apple-y type stuff. Like, that's the only company who would tolerate people just blasting confetti on their work call screen.
Online school would have went crazy.
That's amazing. FaceTime is now on Apple TV. So you use your phone with continuity camera. You just set it up there.
Yeah.
And you get FaceTime on Apple TV.
They also announced Standby. So it's like a dock mode for an alarm clock or something. Basically, it's when your home screen sideways. That's about it.
You snap it to any MagSafe charger sideways, and it will show like a clock and a calendar or like a photo gallery.
Music.
It looks like a smart speaker.
Yeah, kind of.
And since MagSafe chargers have an NFC ring, it will remember which standby mode it was in on which charger.
So if you like move it from the kitchen to your bedroom, it'll know I'm in the bedroom now, so
time for the clock. Whereas in your kitchen, it was here's your calendar, here's your recipe book, whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I think this is what a HomePod with a screen would look like.
Basically. Maybe just like square instead of rectangle, though.
There are rumors of a screened HomePod.
Mm-hmm. An actual screen,
this is what it would look like. Right, not their little bubbly screen.
They also have interactive widgets, so instead of opening the Reminders app, if you have a Reminders widget, you can just like tap the little check.
This is huge.
It's
Android has had this like for all of eternity. And with iOS widgets, they've always been stationary on your home screen.
Yeah.
You've never been able to interact with them. It was never a live thing. It was just a portal into the app that was frozen until you click it and enter the app. So now you can check things off your reminders. There's an interactive home widget, so you can just tap it and turn on a light, which is really nice instead of going into the home app or using Siri.
The home app is really slow, I've learned.
It's not good. And it got no updates. So that's great. But interactive widgets is going to be cool too, because like for music ones, they showed this on the iPad. You can kind of just start playing music.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a Shazam one where you just tap the button. Like there are a lot of cool things this can do. AirDrop got a bunch of stuff.
Okay, so it got...
This is like my favorite feature.
Got name drop.
Name drop. So now when you're sharing your contact with someone, you literally just tap your phones together.
You don't have to tap them. You can just hover them over each other.
Or hover them over and it will exchange your contacts.
Yeah, actually, don't tap the screens because if you have the Sapphire camera lens, it might crack your screen.
Yeah. For all the Apple executives who don't use cases.
Right.
But you can do this with a watch too. So instead of standing there and giving someone your phone, you can just tap your watch to their phone or tap your phone to their phone and bam, contact.
Yep.
This is nice.
It's kind of cool. I feel like they should have done this a long time ago. It can't be that hard with everything they've done in the past 20 years, but it's whatever.
Right, it's just AirDrop. And then in AirDrop now with kind of the same theme. If you select a bunch of photos or select something you want to airdrop, you just hold it to someone's phone and that initiates the airdrop instead of selecting their name.
Okay, and another cool feature about airdrop, if you have large files and like you need to like go away, as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network, it'll keep transferring.
Even if you're not, it still keeps transferring because it just turns it into an iCloud link and sends it.
Oh, gotcha. So that makes sense.
That's kind of nice.
That is nice. So like if you're editing like on a plane or something, I don't know, and you need to airdrop something.
Well, yeah, if you have like a long video and someone asks for it.
Or like if you're at home and you need to airdrop a file to your iPad so you can work on it like on the go, like on a bus or something.
Yeah.
It'll keep sharing it.
Right. Like you can walk away from the person you're airdropping it to instead of standing there for 2 minutes while it sends.
Right.
You can hold 2 iPhones together to start a share play thing, which sounds really buggy.
What happens if your like phones are just like in your pocket and then you just like walk by someone and their music starts playing through your phone?
Oh, I guess so. Oh no.
Oh no, there's a share play and send button. So this won't instantly happen automatically. There's toggleable buttons.
Okay, hold on. The airdrop bump thing. Isn't that easier to do than like couldn't you on a bus just like hit your phone against a bunch of people and send them? Because it doesn't look like that's always been an issue with airdrop. It's always been I'm receiving things I don't want to receive
now
from
you
strangers
can just, like,
on a bus.
Now you can just send like 1,000 pictures and just walk by people holding your phone.
Gosh,
on an airplane, you just hold your phone up and just walk around in the 300 people on the plane.
Because they don't have an option to decline it. It just starts.
Right. I'm sure there's an option to start and decline it.
Or maybe just contacts only that can do the bump thing.
Maybe. That would be nice. Anyways.
Hopefully.
Right. They announced the new journal app. It's stupid. That's all I'm going to say. It's stupid. Just it put pictures in your notes.
It's actually, it uses a lot of AI stuff. It has journal pages for like each day you fill out your journal. But when you start a new journal page, the top of it actually shows a picture you took that day, a place you went, a show you watched, like how many steps you walked. It's kind of like a smart AI recap of your day using a bunch of images and statistics, which is neat. It's all on device, so Apple can't even see your journal. So whatever you put in there is private, which is cool if you like journaling. A lot of people do, so that's a new native app. Then we got to the keyboard. This is actually a really underappreciated thing. Autocorrect now got a huge upgrade.
Finally.
Autocorrect on iPhone has been historically bad, but so now it uses a new AI text guessing thing, a bunch of algorithms that will make autocorrect better.
It makes it unique to your typing.
Right.
Which is really cool, actually.
So now
it's not just a generic text model. It based the model around your word, like the way you text.
Right. I can like I've always every time I send you wheel WE''LL, it always says well. So it's like well go to school. And then it doesn't know that it should have an apostrophe.
Right. And my name's Cole, and everyone always spells it Coke. So maybe I might get my actual name.
And then it will now let you type profanity on the keyboard in text without correcting it. You can tap the spacebar to finish words or sentences, which is like Google Doc or Gmail autofill. Safari got a new update, so you can now have work and personal tab, like accounts.
That's on Mac.
Profiles for different accounts.
That's on Mac OS.
It's on iOS too.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh.
So you can. That's the whole reason I switched to Chrome.
Yeah.
Was for
profiles.
different school and personal profiles. You can lock certain tabs, Face ID. It's still fine. They still said it's the fastest browser in the world. Fine. I use it on my iPhone because it's the best on my iPhone. I don't use it on my Mac because it's just not the best on Mac.
Yeah.
And then search got an update. You can search for scores and stuff, which is great. Autofill verification codes, which is a feature that keeps blowing up on Twitter for some reason because no one knows it exists. When you get a verification code, it shows it in your text box. You can just autofill it. Now the email or text gets deleted.
Right.
But only if you're using Apple Mail. So for no one. You can share passwords now, which is cool, instead of like texting them or saying them over the phone. Music got an update. You can now, ready for this? You can collaborate on a playlist. This is big.
Spotify's
had this forever.
Literally for years.
Now you can have SharePlay with CarPlay. So someone can sit in the backseat of your car and control your music. AirPlay is new and improved, I guess. Hotel AirPlay is a new feature. So now on hotel room TVs, there's a QR code. You scan it and you're AirPlaying to the TV. Instead of clicking AirPlay and seeing 500 hotel TVs.
Right.
You have to AirPlay to all 500
see which one it is.
Until you get to yours. So this is new. AirPods got new stuff, which is kind of surprising. It now has adaptive audio, which is my absolute favorite feature that AirPods has ever had. It's now a hybrid between noise canceling and transparency. So it only lets in the sounds you need to hear.
Or like the gym music player.
Right. It's full noise canceling until someone starts talking to you. Then it dims your music. It's like intelligent audio, which is really cool if it works. When you're on a call, you can click your AirPod stem to mute yourself, which is nice.
I have been asking for this forever.
This is a really handy feature.
I will be talking to Andrew, and I need to mute myself, and I click it thinking...
You have to run back to your phone.
And I click it thinking it'll probably mute it. Nope, it just hangs up the call.
Or you have to run back and find your phone to mute it. So this is cool. Device switching apparently is easier now, which has been really buggy for me.
It's been so bad. I have never gotten it right.
Switching from my Mac to my phone.
It's literally just disconnecting from the phone, going to the Mac. It's like it's never really been good.
Yeah, you can now download maps offline.
That's helpful.
No, you can download maps to use them offline.
Right. So like if you're stuck somewhere, it'll still you can still see where you are. Like how to
if you're going to a place where has no service, you can download the map ahead of time. Siri now has a new activation call. You just say Siri instead of Hey Siri. So now anytime Siri is mentioned, your smart speaker turns on, which is a nightmare for YouTubers, especially tech ones, because now they have to bleep out Siri instead of just Hey. Spotlight is improved. Lookup is improved. The Health app now has a mental health feature where you can constantly keep track of what emotion you're currently feeling, from pleasant to very unpleasant, to keep track of your mood swings. Sure. Communication safety is upgraded. So now if someone sends you a text with a picture that's flagged as sensitive content, it will do an on-device scanning thing and alert you. And I assume it'll alert your guardian too if you have screen time on, which is what they were doing before with the child abuse imagery scanning that made all of the headlines, where they're scanning your photos in the cloud, that whole thing. So this is now done on device, which is great. And that's pretty much it. So that's all of iOS 17 stuff. Again, the big things are call customization, AirDrop, and Standby. Then we got iPadOS 17, which is neglected once again.
We're not going to spend any time on this.
on iPadOS 17, you have lock screen customization. You can put widgets on your lock screen. You have
kaleidoscope wallpapers.
You have live activities, all the stuff that came to iOS 16 last year with wallpapers and stuff.
And the stickers thing.
You get the same 17. Stickers and messaging stuff and contact cards and FaceTime. All of that's over. There's a health app now. The one cool feature on all of iPadOS 17 is that now when you're filling out a PDF with name, address, email, city, zones, like on the PDF, it will automatically read those and fill them in for you.
Why can't it do that on iOS too?
I think it does. They just saved it for iPadOS.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because to make it seem like it's actually important.
They do that every year. They save a bunch of features for the iPadOS part of the keynote to make it seem like they care about iPadOS.
Yeah.
When in reality, not really.
There's some new freeform tools. Nobody cares about that.
No one uses.
Stage Manager is different. You can use an external camera for FaceTime calls.
Which is funny because the example they always have is when your iPad is plugged into your Pro Display XDR, you can put a webcam on it.
If you have an iPad, you don't have a Pro Display XDR that you're using with the iPad.
Right. If you're spending $6,000 on a monitor for your iPad,
that your $600 iPad,
you need to reevaluate your choices here.
Yeah. Anyways, it's basically all the same.
The iPad is still the iPad. Final Cut and Logic were the biggest things, and those were months ago.
Yeah.
That wasn't even
announced. And multiple timers. but that's
actually huge.
Yeah.
That is something we've wanted from Apple forever.
Okay, first of all, it's not huge. This should have been a feature out of the gate of timers.
Huge. It's huge for Apple because they've never done it. Everyone's always wanted this, and it's finally here now.
Well, yes, technically it's huge because it's never been a thing, but it shouldn't have to be.
Let me find the part of the keynote where they talk about that, because Craig even jokes about it. Is this it? Yeah.
How revolutionary is that or something?
Okay, listen.
Or a timer. And we're happy to report that now you can even keep track of multiple timers. We truly live in an age of wonders.
That's what it was.
Which is hilarious because we've always wanted that and now it's here.
Right.
Still no like actual calculator on iPad and all that, but we got multiple timers. I'm happy.
Okay. So, yeah, fun times. iPad OS is no fun still.
However, macOS Sonoma is also no fun. It's I don't know, it's fine. We got Windows 11 lock screen things. So now your screensaver is new and Apple TV-ish, and then it will slowly morph into your home screen.
Yeah.
We have widgets on the Mac desktop. So
okay. This is for every person over the age of 45 years old. That's it. That's the comment. That's it. That's the only thing it's being used for.
They spent so much time on this because you can now have all of your iOS-looking widgets pinned to your Mac screen, your Mac home screen, and then they just blur when you open an app over it.
Right.
I will never use this. You will never find a widget on my Mac home screen.
Unless they have like third-party ones that like actually look good.
It would have to be so good. Like if Clean My Mac did like a little
widget thing.
I don't know. Maybe.
Like if they made it like blend with your wallpaper to like have custom like clocks on your thing that you can like move anywhere.
Or like an AirPod switching toggle. Yeah. I don't know. Something like that.
Because all of this is in your menu bar.
Yeah, it's one swipe away. A 2-finger swipe on the trackpad gets you to your widgets. So that's new. It has all of the FaceTime stuff. It has all the Safari stuff. Safari now has web apps.
This is cool.
Which you can pin to your dock, which is nice because that's what I do for Gmail and Calendar in Chrome. Mm-hmm. So now I guess I can do that with Safari.
Okay, but the web apps from Chrome aren't the same size as all the other apps in the dock. They're like a little bit bigger.
They look weird. This will keep it uniform.
Yeah.
All Apple-y and controlled. iMessage gets the same stuff. PDFs get all the same stuff. So then we get to gaming, the thing that everyone waits for with Mac OS.
You know what's sad? Apple makes the best gaming computers that can't play video games.
Well, now they can.
No, they can't.
We have DirectX, is it 12? We have DirectX 12 on Mac.
Do we? I don't see that anywhere.
Yeah, we did. They mentioned, or it's DirectX 11, one of them.
It's not DX 11. That's been a thing for like 10 years.
Well, knowing them, maybe.
Yeah. But
now you can port your Windows games as a developer to Mac OS really easily.
As a developer, you can't do this on your own. The devs have to do this. So if something like, I don't know, Fortnite. App Store Fortnite. No, they wouldn't let that happen.
But I really want to play Horizon 5 on a Mac with Mac settings.
That would be so cool. It would look good too on the display.
Yeah.
But they basically just give you better controller support. There's a game mode now,
which like bumps up your CPU performance.
It's Opera GX but baked into a computer.
Yeah, it says it reduces the latency of your AirPods and controllers.
Yeah,
with game mode.
So it like I guess numbs the frequencies around the computer.
I don't know how that's different from high power mode on MacBook Pros.
Right. But yeah, they announced a thing. They're porting Death Stranding to the Mac.
They spent so much time on this.
I've played that game. It doesn't make sense. I don't think it's a good game. It's a very beautiful game. Like it's very good looking.
Yeah.
The story's dumb.
Yeah, they're showing off old games. They have Stray, that cat game.
Oh, that came out like what, 2 years ago?
It's already on Mac. So they're really pushing this as a gaming thing, which nobody wants. macOS Sonoma.
Yay, gaming.
watchOS 10 got a complete system overhaul. The whole thing is, guess what? Widget based. It's the year of widgets. The activity app is new, the stock app, weather app, clock app, all of that is new in favor of widget-style screens. Your old Control Center is now a smart stack. So you scroll down from your watch screen where Control Center used to be. Now you have a ton of widgets stacked on top of each other.
Right.
There are cycling modes for biking and stuff.
Okay, the cycling mode's actually kind of cool, but I'm not going to get into that.
There's a hiking thing. There's the same mental health thing where you can pick your current emotion and track your mood swings. Sure. There's vision health, which shows you the time you've spent outside, which is cool, I guess. And then they spent an unbelievable amount of time talking about the Snoopy watch face.
Basically, it's just an interactive watch face that...
Snoopy and Woodstock, is that his name?
I guess.
On the...
Yeah. It's
watch
kind of cool.
face.
Very niche.
When you're doing an activity, Snoopy has a Frisbee, and he throws it around your home screen.
It's kind of...
As Craig
cute.
said,
That's
we
about
live
it.
in a world of innovation or whatever.
Yeah.
So WatchOS 10, widgets and Snoopy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to talk about the cycling mode real quick.
Go for it.
Okay, I ride a little motorcycle-like thing. It's a little mini bike, right? And I have to use this stupid third-party speedometer app that has ads every 45 seconds on the dot.
Yeah.
And this doesn't... It has ads, and it just tells you your speed, your average speed, your heart rate. So, like, I'm flying 50 down a road with a bald tire. My heart rate will now show.
So now it'll tell you speed warning, heart rate warning.
Your distance and your max speed, which is what I want the speedometer app to do without having to pay for it.
But is this only... They had a feature where it would calculate the wattage of, like, your pedaling, but it was only for Bluetooth-enabled bikes. Is this the same?
No, it's accessories.
Is this the same, though, with miles per hour? Or
I
is it
don't
just
think
GPS?
so. I think it's just GPS.
That's kind of cool, though.
And I think you might be able to use, like, more accurate... Well, no, because you can't calculate speed based on a sprocket movement. Anyways.
So now all miles per hour speedometer apps are dead.
Yeah.
All of them are out of business.
Yeah, because in the phone app one looks so good.
On what?
There's the cycling app on the phone.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks so good. Anyways, I'm using that. But that's about it. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we will talk about Apple Vision Pro. Control AC is sponsored by The Complete Backyard. The Complete Backyard is a custom outdoor design and living space company. Basically, you tell them your idea for your dream outdoor living space, whether it's a pool, cabana, pergola, outdoor kitchen, hot tub, whatever, they will build it. For a consultation, you can go to thecompletebackyard.com.
So,
It's here.
it's here. We've heard rumors for the past
6 years.
6 years that Apple was releasing a VR headset. So, Apple kind of did a little flippy the switchy on us here and released an AR headset called the Apple Vision Pro.
Apple Vision Pro is Apple's mixed reality headset. There's so much to unpack here. We're going to try and do it in a timely manner. Cole and I consider ourselves pretty objective tech fans.
Yeah.
We both use iPhones and Macs, but like we still look at the tech world with as little bias as possible. Mm-hmm. With that being said, and with that out of the way, this is the most impressive piece of technology I have ever seen in my life.
I'm going to agree.
This is also, I think, the most complicated consumer product that has been released in a long time.
I think this is the next like revolutionary device since the computer.
Yes, and it's Apple's vision of the future. This isn't what Apple wants, but this is the next step, the next big step in getting to what they want.
Right.
Which we'll talk about.
I have a hot take really quick before we start. It's not really a hot take. It kind of makes sense. Apple has been slowly piecing together the tech for this to work how it does now for years.
Right.
Like AirPods spatial audio, the M2 chip. They've had sensor chips technically before in their phones.
We've had LiDAR in the iPhones. Yeah. We've had AR demos forever.
They've been slowly individually piecing every piece of this thing together in different devices like the AirPods, the iPhone, the Mac. And now they finally merged it into a headset. Like this hasn't been a quick, hey, let's make something that's interesting in a year or two. They've been working on this for decades. At least a decade.
Yeah.
Years of work and engineering has gone into this.
To start, let's just do a quick little recap of what the thing is so then we can kind of break it down. This is a mixed reality headset. So think of, it looks exactly like a pair of ski goggles. So it's a big roundish glass headset that you wear on your head like any other VR headset you've seen. I'm going to say it's like an Oculus. Think of that.
Or it's more like the Meta Quest Pro.
Right. So
Kind of.
While the Oculus or the Meta Quest Pro is a VR headset, this is advertised as a spatial computer. So rather than just playing games and watching a video, this does everything.
So the chip in it is the M2, right? So it's a computer strapped to your face, which spatial computer, like it's, we'll get into it, but it's an interesting new kind of tech.
On the Vergecast, they were saying that an Oculus is a cheap Android smartphone strapped to your face in terms of image quality and processing power. If that's what an Oculus is, this is a full-fledged MacBook on your face. It runs a new software called Vision OS. So when you put on the goggles, the entire interface is a bunch of floating screens. So you're looking through and you see the world. So the whole thing is pass-through video.
Which Meta has, but it's bad.
It's really bad.
It's terrible.
A lot of reviewers, everyone at Dubda basically got to do a demo with this. They all said the pass-through video is incredible. It just looks like you're looking at the world.
Right.
In that world you're looking at, you then have AR screens everywhere. So you have screens that you're looking at in augmented reality in the headset that you interact with, not via physical controls like a Meta Quest, the hand controls.
Right.
This is via hand gestures and eye control.
Which is incredible.
So let's say when you put on the headset, there's a menu and it shows you all your apps. To go to Safari, you just look at Safari. And everyone said, who's tried it, the eye tracking is unbelievably good. You just look at the thing with your eyes and it instantly gets highlighted.
Which, like we said, Apple has been piecing together for years with the, like your phone knows when you look at the screen.
Right, with infrared.
Right.
So it has infrared cameras on your eyes at all times and it knows where you're looking. And then to select something, it has a ton of cameras on it. 2 of them are downward facing to see your hands. So wherever your hands are, you take your thumb and your index finger and you just pinch. And that little tap is like a mouse click. And you just tap. So you look at something, tap your fingers, and you've selected it.
This, I don't even want to see the strings of code to
it's
get
just
one hand gesture.
This
to work
is not
right.
something that's impressive if it's a concept, but this is something mind-blowing since it actually works.
It actually exists and is functional.
And all of the like it actually works stuff that we're talking about is from reviewers who've tried this in the demo.
Yeah, not just their claims on their website.
To be fair, it's a very well-controlled demo with perfect lighting and a perfect instructor walking you through, but still. Touch controls, you can swipe, you can like pinch and pull to zoom in. You can like swipe away stuff. It's like Tony Stark. That's what my brother said. It's like Tony Stark and Iron Man looking at stuff, swiping stuff around.
So what I said,
crazy.
What I said to Andrew was, Hacksmith, the YouTuber channel Hacksmith, they made a little engineering desk that essentially had a little screen that like, it was a 3D clear display. So you could see, and you could like, they had a little little camera at the top to like see your hand gestures. That is completely dead.
Yeah.
Like with that video came out 2 weeks ago. And now you can actually do that, which was one of their selling points in the
yeah. So then the pitch of the whole thing, before we get into the individual parts, the pitch of this is a spatial computer that is more of a computer than an entertainment device.
Right.
This is for actual hardcore work, but also gaming and entertainment and stuff like that.
Right.
So the physical headset, it is, per reviewers, incredibly well built.
I mean, it's an Apple device. What did you expect? The glass is perfect. The aluminum is perfect.
We should say the price. So this is $3,500.
Hot take, 100% worth the price.
It is definitely justified. which we will explain. But it's incredibly well built. It looks exactly like a ski mask. There's a video with Joanna Stern from the Wall Street Journal, and while talking about this, because she didn't have a review unit, she just bought a pair of ski goggles. It looks exactly like it. The whole front of it is a big glass covering, which is actually a screen, which we'll get to. And that itself is like,
yeah, it's a curved OLED
like,
display.
that's expensive.
Screen. I keep saying that. Display.
It can be powered two ways, so it can either be plugged into a wall for infinite power, or it can run off of a battery bank that is the size of an iPhone that you put in your pocket.
But it's not. It's like the size of a 6.
Yeah,
iPhone
so
6.
There's this little battery bank sitting in your pocket, wired up to the headset via a proprietary MagSafe twisty lock cable thing, and that powers the headset for 2 hours. When you put on the headset, each eye is looking at one of two displays. So there are two displays in the thing, each being amplified by a bunch of very expensive lenses. Display.
They're both 4K.
They're both 4K micro OLED 90 hertz screens.
Literally the most. I don't even know.
At Apple Park, they have a screen that they use for demos, and it's probably like 20 feet wide. They said that screen has 16 million pixels. It's a presenter screen.
Yeah, right. It's like a Samsung The Wall.
Right. It's a big TV. That has 16 million pixels. This screen in your eye has 24 million micro OLED pixels.
Each, right?
Yes. Which is just insane. They have a partnership with Zeiss, so you can have custom prescription lenses in there, which cannot be cheap.
I'm going to guess $300 minimum each.
I'm sure. On the side of it, to hear your content, there are two spatial audio speakers.
Which they introduced with the AirPods.
Right. So you hear all your content in spatial audio, which reviewers said sounded really good, or you can use AirPods. There are 6 cameras, LiDAR, infrared. There are 12 total sensors all on the front. There's an OLED display on the front for your eyes. So to make this more human, there's an OLED screen on the front of the glass that projects your eyes on the front of the headset.
Which it sees with the cameras.
Correct. So when people walk up to you, and it's smart too. So when someone approaches you, they will actually come through whatever experience you're in, and you can see just them, and your eyes will show up. And when you look at people, your eyes move. Will this work?
I'm going to say if they can make everything else work, this is going to work.
Notably, they didn't have any Apple executives wearing the headset in the keynote or product demos, and the reviewers weren't allowed to use the eye thing. So that's probably a feature coming later.
Yeah, they're probably just ironing out bugs and stuff.
But everyone was saying, like, you're walking down the street with this thing in the ideal Apple world, or you're on a plane, and you just have these fake eyes on the screen looking at people. I don't know.
I think if you were the only one that had it, it'd be freaky. But if it was like a common thing in Apple's Apple world, then it'd just be normal.
Will your kids be scared of this?
Probably. If they're little.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Using this with your kids.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Final thing in terms of hardware, there's a button on it. There's a digital crown on it.
Of course. We can't have an Apple device that's wearable without a digital crown.
The crown adjusts the level of immersion.
So you can have full augmented reality.
Which is where you see stuff around you.
Or of a complete virtual reality.
Right.
Which you can have.
Twist it and it slowly blocks out everything and puts you in a virtual world.
So, okay. We'll get into that later. But the APIs for this are going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah. This is a developer's... Is it a nightmare? Is this a nightmare to develop for? Or is it just fun? Because it's never been done before.
Yes.
Apple has a whole thing in the keynote where they explain what to use it for, and they basically break it down into 4 different use cases. So those are the 4 we're going to look at.
Right. So first, photos and videos.
They said this is the optimal device to view your photos in. You can view your photos in 3D. So you can have the photo album in front of you and look at your photos in 3D. That would beg the question, how do you take these 3D photos?
It's with the button on top, correct?
You use the whole headset.
Yeah.
So the headset itself can record in 3D. So they had this really creepy demo of these kids enjoying their birthday, just making memories, enjoying their birthday. And then comes dad
with the headset on.
Wearing the headset, filming the kids, tracking them with his head, walking around the house.
It's a little
recording them in 3D.
I can see how this could be like cool, revolutionary, interesting, but like that's terrifying.
Yeah, it's weird. You're chilling, and then here comes dad with the headset with the eyes on the front. I don't know. It can record in 3D if you want to become a Vision Pro photographer, and it also has full panorama immersion. So it said you can look at all of your panoramic photos in AR.
The 3 that you
maybe have 3 panoramic photos.
Like before you die, you will have 1 to 5 in your camera roll.
This is cool because now if you go on vacation and you have this Vision Pro, you can take a panorama of a cool spot.
Now that's
come back
cool.
to look at it later.
Yeah, that's
kind of cool. Also, the iPhones have LiDAR, so why can't they do 3D photos for Vision Pro?
Because it's bad.
I don't know. So if you're done being a Vision Pro photographer, you can use the Vision Pro for the second use case, which I think is its biggest selling point. Entertainment.
Okay, before we get... No, actually, I'll do it later. I'm so sorry. It's so hard to, like, not rabbit hole here.
The Vision Pro can be used for watching movies, and you can do this with an Oculus. It's not a good experience.
It's not a good experience.
It's a bad-looking...
Yeah.
Is it 1080p?
I think so, yeah, but it's a bad 1080p, and if you have the Rift, you have to have a good computer to run 1080p.
Okay, so now you can watch movies on this
natively
in 4K on your face. So you're sitting on your couch and you start up the movie and you have a TV in front of you. Mm-hmm. You can size the TV up to 100 inches.
And
in your house.
When you get into the virtual, like fully
then
virtual.
Then you twist the crown and it wraps you in whatever environment you want to be in.
Yep.
So they had an example of
a mountain range.
Sitting on like the shore of a lake with a mountain in the background. It's all dark, and you can size that screen up to 100 feet wide. So now you are sitting on your couch at home, but you're watching this on a mountain with a 100 foot wide 4K screen with fully immersive spatial audio.
Hey, Andrew.
Yes.
I don't need a car. I want one of these so bad.
This is the best way to watch movies.
By yourself.
Right. This is better than going to a movie theater. This is better than having a surround sound system. I don't see how this can be beat.
Especially, imagine if they have enough room to where you can put AirPods Max on.
Yeah, right. And you can use AirPods Pro with it too. Mm-hmm. And they had a Disney Plus collaboration.
This is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so in the middle of the event, Bob Iger just goes out there, CEO of Disney, just walks out there and
it's like, hey, guess what? Mandalorian is cool now.
Starts talking about the Disney and Apple collaboration. So it's more than just Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
It's more than Mickey and Snoopy on the watch. Mm-hmm. It's now full Disney Plus support on Vision Pro.
Yeah, so almost every show on Disney Plus has a little UI, like a whole like thing whenever you go to like hover over a show. It's really interesting.
And it showed someone sitting in a Star Wars ship
next to what's his face, Grogu.
Right, watching The Mandalorian on a Star Wars planet. This is next level futuristic stuff. This is crazy.
We said it. I'll say it again. This is the most revolutionary piece of technology in the last 40 years.
And again, this is not impressive as a concept. Mm-mm. We've had concepts of this forever, but the fact that it not only works, but it will be a consumer level product.
And that's not $10,000.
Yeah. You can do that when you're looking at it in your room. There's a Philips Hue like glow, so it'll like emulate the colors on the screen behind it, which is cool. You can watch it anywhere. I would definitely watch. I'd never go to a movie theater again.
Never. I mean, like by myself.
I would wait a month before, for the movie to come out to do this. But the problem with the entertainment thing is when you're not the only one.
Yeah. So I heard I think it was in Mr. Who's the Boss video saying, this is great if you're by yourself, but this kills social, like, things
now,
like this.
Even if you bought a Vision Pro for every member of your family, you're still all in your own world.
Right. Unless
they did like a family feature where you're looking at the person next to you.
Like you're like in a movie theater or like on the lake and like you can see everyone there and you can see their like little 3D rendered faces.
So awesome.
It would be so cool. But like, and then if you're the only one in your family that has this and then you go to watch a movie with your family, your expectations are so high.
Yeah.
And then you sit down for your little 1080p 45 hertz TV that you've had for 20 years and you're like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah. It's a 90 hertz display that actually goes up to 96 hertz when you're watching 24 FPS content, because it's a perfect multiple. So each frame is on the screen 4 times, and it's the best 24 FPS experience you're going to get, which is that's so cool.
That is incredible. But frame skipping.
Yeah, I mean...
like, will it just speed your movie up 4 times, or is it just filling in frames?
It's just filling in... Like, it keeps the pixel on there 4 times as long, because it's 4 times the refresh rate.
Okay, so it's just like a little bit of a smoother.
Right. With spatial audio and a 100-foot screen. You can't get this anywhere else.
Literally nowhere else.
And then they showed someone playing games on it. If you could play like Spider-Man Miles Morales on this VR, because I know PlayStation has their own VR.
You're right.
But like games like that.
We'll get into that in a second.
With the hand gestures too, you can like swing.
And imagine with those little like 4D movement things that they have for VR now, like where you're just like suspended in air and it like moves you around.
Yeah.
And imagine like with the haptic suits and everything too. Like,
yeah.
If Apple opens this ecosystem for everybody, this will be Ready Player One.
Imagine like holding the gun in the game,
right?
Or swinging as Spider-Man, or like throwing stuff.
Yeah, if you have like a haptic suit on and like those like resistance gloves that like emulate like what you're feeling, like what you're holding. If they perfect that, if Apple can do this, they can do that.
Yeah, I also saw something that said you have an Apple Watch if you spend $3,500 on this, you have an Apple Watch.
Right.
The Apple Watch does haptics. So if it all connected, you could feel the haptics on your wrist too when you're doing stuff, which just opens up the door for a lot.
Yeah.
And then the last entertainment-y thing is sports.
Okay, this is incredible.
Awesome.
I don't even like sports very much, but this is incredible.
They showed someone watching a football game, and then you have the screen in front of you, and then to your left and right, you have the stats for the player who just scored. You have other team news. You have stats for the whole team. You have other scores pinned. It's the most immersive sports experience you're going to get.
Ever.
You can sit with this courtside at an NBA game in 4K, 90 hertz. Even if you sold, like the NBA could just sell these courtside tickets for like $50 a game. And you just stick, because they can
like
sell
virtual tickets.
Yeah, they can sell as many of these as they want, because you're sitting in the same spot.
Right.
Do you feel like the atmosphere of the crowd? No. Do you get like...
But still you feel something because the spatial audio.
Right. It's better than spending $30,000 to go sit courtside in an actual game.
Right. And oh man, they could do so many cool things with this.
F1, where you're in the car...
After we explain these next 2 topics, we're going to go rabbit hole a little bit.
So entertainment is crazy. I think entertainment itself justifies the $3,500. No question.
At least.
The next category they have is work, which is a very Apple utopian sort of thing.
It's basically what we've imagined AR would be for work for the past few years. Like you can technically do this with an Oculus, like have your little spatial, but it's bad. You can do this with like, they have smart glasses where you can do this, but it's not great. It's obviously a thin little projector. But it's not a good experience, like objectively, but like it's interesting. But this is almost perfection.
You have Safari, Messages, Notes, Keynote, eventually like Microsoft apps, Google apps, hopefully, maybe. So you have all of your work apps on this, and it showed you like dragging files with your hand from messages to your email and creating keynotes with it and all that stuff. You have windows everywhere. It's just kind of a virtual work experience. The problem with that is the office they showed in the keynote
was like a kitchen or something.
It was a huge, open, standing desk-filled modern office. So this whole work with Vision Pro thing really only works for like brand new trendy tech startups.
I mean, no. Like you could do this in your own office. Like we could do this in our room, like here.
I guess, but like
it wouldn't be as efficient, but like realistically, if you just crank the VR mode a little bit more, like this wall wouldn't be here, the screens would just be there.
Yeah, their Vision showed everyone in there wearing one.
Yeah.
So like everyone has Vision Pro. You can collaborate with
I wonder if you can like see other people's windows like from behind, like they're just like little white windows.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like it's like actually like a virtual environment.
You can't see what they're working on.
Yeah, but like you can see there's a window there. And the depth and the shadows. That was something they sold too. You could see the shadows of things. Like the depth perception on this was insane.
Which is crazy because on top of all of this, it's projecting a shadow on the ground.
Yeah.
This is all run by, like you said, the M2 chip on your face.
Right.
And then a new R1 chip that's in charge of all of the, I'm assuming R for reality, like all of the virtual reality image processing stuff. So you have two chips. If you could get a Geekbench score on this, I wonder what it would be.
It would be the same as probably the M2 Air.
Yeah, which is a really fast computer.
It's Andrew's laptop, which can do everything.
Right.
Strapped to your face. Imagine if you could play like native Mac games on this, like Minecraft, like with Optifine and like shaders. Like you're in the game because
you can. It has Apple Arcade. They showed a golf game where the golf course cartoon thing is on a table and you just golf on.
This is crazy.
This is crazy. Imagine Game Pigeon with like darts and archery. You have archery here because it interacts with your hands too. In the demo that all the reviewers got, there was a butterfly that landed on their finger when they stuck out their hand. So you can hold things.
Kind of.
You can hold, like I said, you can hold a weapon or a tool in a game.
Right. Like if they like, I'll say it again. If they open support for every developer to do this and they get on board, it like what even is reality anymore?
So that's work, and then of course you're wearing this. You can only wear it for 2 hours on the battery pack,
which I mean realistically isn't bad. The battery's like this small. I mean, what do you expect? I'm sure they'll have accessories. Like I'm sure third-party companies will make accessories for like 12-hour batteries. It's like a backpack.
The water backpacks that people have for hiking, you just have a battery.
I mean, if it wasn't insanely heavy, that would be like.
The headset itself is almost a pound, so that's why they can't have the battery in it.
Because that would probably double the weight.
Yeah. And then another question is, my M2 MacBook Air is really, really fast, but it also gets hot. So the question with the headset is, you can't have this thing heating up on your face.
So
there are vents on the bottom and top. Air comes through the bottom, goes up through the top. Reviewers said that when they took off the headset after 30 minutes, it felt warm. Like the metal on it was slightly warm.
But that's with any tech that
which
you're
is
using.
Fine. As long as it doesn't get like Intel MacBook hot, we're fine. But the fans in it are quiet enough where you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So heat and performance, I don't think will be a problem.
Remember my 2012 MacBook that we couldn't even touch the bottom after me opening like 10 Chrome tabs?
We should have put like a piece of chocolate on that or ice and just watch it melt.
Cook an egg.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Last use case they had is the creepiest. They have FaceTime. So if you don't think about it too long, it sounds great. So you can FaceTime people. You can see them in your room on the screen like that.
Now let me explain this.
But then you start to wonder, you see them.
How do they see you?
How do they see you?
So basically, when you're setting up the headset, you hold it in front of you.
And the headset?
You hold the headset in front of you, and it essentially takes a LiDAR scan of your, like,
whole upper body.
Mid-stomach up, and makes a 3D model of you.
When you're on a FaceTime call, it is the 3D model of you.
And with the eye tracking, it automatically changes the position of your eyes based on who you're looking at, what you're looking at.
This is not like the creepy looking Mark Zuckerberg Meta avatars either. This is like a realistic looking good 3D.
I wouldn't say it's like hyper realistic, but it's fairly realistic.
It's as close as we're going to get right now.
At the moment, yes.
But
and as it gets better, it's...
I don't know. This feels like it would use more battery than just 2 hours. But you can walk around your house FaceTiming people like that. I don't know. Apple has a vision of society, which we'll talk about later. And society thinks differently than Apple does. So those are the use cases. FaceTime and photos are kind of weird.
They're kind of weird, but they're interesting.
Work and entertainment are the two biggest. Entertainment, I think, is the biggest selling factor.
Okay. Now we're rabbit holing here. I don't even know. I didn't know how to react to this when I saw it.
There's so much to
potential.
Unpack. That's why I said it's one of the most complicated consumer products. Because my first reaction was, wow, this is truly incredible.
Right.
The general public did not have that reaction. And there was an Instagram comment that I screenshotted that I want to read, and we'll sort of dissect this. So the comment is from a verified Instagram account. It says, the worst part, goggles that have been there since years ago, and Apple brings as innovation. Meta Quest is literally on its 3rd generation, does the same stuff, and costs $500. People should start opening their eyes to see that Apple does that to every product they have. It's awful.
What?
So the general misconception from people is that this is competing with the Meta Quest.
Which it's not even in the slightest.
It's not even the same product. If it were competing with the Meta Quest, it would have to be a lot cheaper.
The Meta Quest is literally advertised as a gaming device.
This is a spatial computer with M2 and 4K screens. The screen tech alone
is worth the $3,500.
Is worth the $3,500.
To have a 24 million micro OLED, which nobody has seen
Apple
before.
has never done a micro OLED display.
Hold on, you know what?
Type in micro OLED TV. See how much that is.
$6,500, $220,000, $17,000, $9,000, $200,000.
Yeah, micro OLED
is not cheap. The Samsung The Wall is micro OLED, and that's 146 inches, and it's $220,000.
Right. So
you can get a 100-inch. You can get a 100-foot 4K display in space. No, you know what? There's not even micro.
Samsung has a TV called The Wall that is 110 inches. So this is pretty much the size of the Vision Pro TV that's virtual. This TV is micro OLED, which is what.
No, there's no
Apple's
micro
is.
OLED TVs. There's micro LED, mini LED, and OLED. There's no micro
not?
OLED. No, it's not.
Then this is like really.
This is the
OLED then.
No, like there is no micro OLED that's announced besides Apple Vision.
Or like maybe some CES monitor.
No, not even. There's nothing from CES with a micro OLED.
Okay, well, this Samsung TV is still it has like Black Seal technology. It's like an advanced OLED display. It's 2K. It's 110 inches. So it's already worse than the Apple one. And the 2K 110-inch one is $80,000.
And for the 4K 146-inch one, it's $220,000.
So this combines a TV that's better than that with a superb sound system, a game console, an M2 Mac, and a camera, all in the thing. We forgot to say, it unlocks using Optic ID.
Which is cool.
Right, so your eye is the password for this. All of that tech for $3,500, that's a steal. $3,500 is a lot of money. But for a product like this, it is not only completely justified, in my opinion, but it's almost a steal.
Oh, 100%. For the screen tech alone, it's worth.
So all of the people saying, well, my Oculus does the same thing.
Like, okay, but
your
no.
Oculus does not.
It can do similar things, much worse, for the price that it's at.
And also the Meta Quest Pro is like $1,000.
It's $1,500.
$1,500. So it's already getting up there.
And it's not this.
And it's not this.
This is smaller. It is insanely more comfortable from all the reviews. There's no light leakage from some reviews, right? Like there's no leakage from the eye seal to this display, which is the big problem with the MetaQuest
Which you're
Pro.
measured for too. When you go to buy this product, they measure your face and they get you a custom seal for your face.
It's not really, it's like a size chart,
there are a bunch of sizes though, which the MetaQuest does not do. On that Vergecast episode from DubDub, it's like a half-hour thing they did at Apple Park. They said in there, and I think this is a really good quote, they said you can tell when you look at Meta and Apple, you can tell which company is a company that develops hardware to make money, and you can tell which company does social media and just got into building hardware.
Right.
The MetaQuest and the avatars and stuff,
it was cool when it came out.
But this is not. This is a whole
This isn't
new
just
level.
cool. This is insane.
The tech is unbelievable. The use cases for it, that's kind of the question. The whole question is, what do you buy this for?
It's complicated.
I think if I had that much money, enough where spending this much money on a headset would not financially hurt me, which is definitely not where I'm at now, I would buy this thing just for content consumption because it's unbelievable.
100%.
There is no better movie watching experience than this. If it is as good as it's advertised as, which reviewers have already said it is.
Right. Okay, listen. What are going to be the laws around this?
Well,
because, look, driving a car?
You probably can't.
But how are they going to, why?
I don't know, because it's pass-through video. So I'm not sure what.
And because it's live at the same time, 90 hertz, which is like the general like human response time of eyes, like established kind of. It's like 60 to 120. That's like you can really see. I mean, it's infinite, but still, like that's like enough to make it seem realistic enough. And it's not like if you have it plugged into your car. If your car dies, that's not the headset's fault. That's the car's battery fault, right? So they're going to have to figure something out. I wonder who the first person to get pulled over with this on is going to say.
What if they integrate CarPlay? What if you have a heads-up display, a head-on display? Head is, I don't know.
You could see, like, what if you got, like, alerts, like, cop a mile back?
You have maps on your headset
Yeah,
thing,
like, Waze, like, to, like, the bottom right, so, you don't have to...
Which kind of leads me to the last point I have here. Apple's vision for the future is full augmented reality via glasses. Tim Cook has talked about this. So the dream that Apple has is all of this AR tech is in one sleek pair of glasses that you can wear every day. Mm-hmm. We are nowhere near that technology.
But we
like all of this tech in the big ski goggle 1 pound headset cannot be put into a slim pair of glasses.
Like, obviously not this much tech, but, like, I can go and buy smart AR glasses right now. $1,000 for this LXN Evo. They kind of look like the Edith glasses from Spider-Man.
Yeah, but their vision is to have, like, M2 on your face at all times.
Right.
Their vision is for the world to be like this thing. Like, you look at someone, it pulls up their name via, like, a worldwide database of names or whatever. I don't know. But that's their vision. This is the first step of getting there.
Exactly.
This is not the final form of Vision or whatever.
Vision Pro Max. That's like a whole...
Yeah. This is in Marquez's video, he summed it up great. This is a rich man's toy and it's a developer's canvas, right?
Right.
Like, all developers have because this comes out in late December, supposedly. Sure, it's going to get delayed.
Dad,
Developers,
please, my birthday.
I know Christmas. Developers have a long time to work on this, and rich people can just mess around with this. But eventually, the price will go down. There will be a Vision SE. This will get to a consumer-friendly price. But for the time being, this is Apple's vision of how we interact at work, how we consume content. We'll have to see. The last thing I have is the script is we shall see. Because at this point, we have to wait till we get review units in December, whatever time next year. We have to wait for the next DubDub, because now Vision OS is going to be a part of DubDub.
Mm-hmm. Updates every year.
Right. And we'll just have to see. The adoption of this or the reaction from non-tech people was not positive, because it's all about this is overpriced. Apple's, too expensive, and Oculus is the same thing. Which, I mean, we already said the misconception is that this is the same thing as an Oculus. This is not.
No.
So if this is not an Oculus, what is it?
Like they said, it's a completely brand new spatial. It's a different kind of computing than an Oculus is.
So do you buy this over a Mac at that point? Like, who is this specifically targeted for? One thing we also didn't mention, if you have your Mac while you're using the Vision Pro and you open your Mac screen appears in AR.
Which is really cool.
So you can use your keyboard and mouse, but your Mac screen is 100 inches or whatever.
Imagine, like, it's just...
It's so crazy. There are so many different possibilities, so many use cases, and at the end of the day, we just don't know any answers yet.
Yeah.
This is such a thought-provoking product.
Yeah.
And we just don't have answers yet.
I think there's an infinite amount of possibilities with this, because gaming, if they, like I said, if they open their API to game developers, you can port your like Windows and Mac games to Vision OS and play them natively with M2. Like there will be nothing like this from any other company. I'm gonna say it now. I guarantee you it's gonna be. I'm gonna call it now. 3 years before another company has something even remotely like this.
I think it'll be Google next.
It has to be.
There's no other,
or maybe Samsung.
Yeah, because pulling this off isn't the problem. It's pulling this off at scale and it being a consumer product.
Right, and not just a niche office, like, rich billionaire product.
Right, this is the EV problem. Everyone can make, any company can make an EV, but very few can actually ship them well enough to the point where it's a mainstream car.
E.g. Tesla.
Right, like
compared to, like, what?
The Sony car that we see every year. That you'll never see that on the road.
Never.
So I think a lot of companies are going to have stuff like this, but right now in 2023, Apple is the only company who can pull this off at scale as bug-free as it supposedly is for the people who've used it. We are going to go to an Apple store. We will try this. We don't know how the demos will work.
You're probably going to have to pay, honestly. It'll be like $20 probably to try.
My dad was saying, I bet you're going to have to schedule a demo.
Oh, 100%. There's no way you can't have to.
Because it's the demos they gave to the reviewers were half an hour, like to run through all of the stuff it does. So
we'll see. Both hopefully
we will try this eventually, and we'll do a whole episode just on the experience.
Oh, 100%.
But this is I've never been more excited to use a product. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was WWDC 2023. What an event.
For real. I think the software was a little not exactly the most thought-provoking or innovative.
No, and the Macs were all boring.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to see a Mac Studio with Apple Silicon, or Mac Pro with Apple Silicon, but it's nothing different than the Mac Studio besides PCIe. The Mac Studio was interesting, M2 Max and M2 Ultra. I mean, we knew it was coming.
Yeah. I will also say, Craig Federighi kind of wrapped up the event, and then Tim Cook went out there and did the one more thing.
It's already been a big day, but we do have one more thing.
This is the first one more thing that we've had since 2017 with the iPhone 10.
Yeah.
That was at the 1 hour and 20 minute part of the keynote, and the whole thing was 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So they spent 45 minutes on Vision Pro. This is the future of all the keynotes. That's going to be the focus. This is going to, like, this is Apple's new favorite child.
Yeah.
Over the iPhone, over the Mac. Boy, we'll see.
Yeah. We will see.
So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to send us a Vision Pro,
please, I will.
You can reach out to us on Twitter. I'm at UtterlyDrew.
And I am at Cole WW Webb.
And we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.